Yes, I think that pattern prediction is a very important concept that most economists still sort of miss. It does seem to me.
I mean, it's a whole question of the theory of how far can we explain complex phenomena where we do not really have the power of precise prediction. We don't know of any laws, but our whole knowledge is the knowledge of a pattern, essentially.
I think that's very important and has been missed. And I think, again, go back to what you attributed a lot to the utilitarians. I think the utilitarian mode of thought had a lot of influence toward preventing that sort of way of going.
Well, in a way, you know, I'm becoming aware that the simplest conception of science, which I assumed was only invented by the middle of last century, Auguste Comte and these people, goes back much further. The Newtonian example of how you could reduce all scientific knowledge to very simple laws where one thing was a function of only one or two other magnitudes. And this conception of a single function as a prototype of a scientific explanation had probably a very profound effect from the late 18th century on scientific thinking generally.
Of course, that does have its virtues, as has been proven, but on the other hand, I think in places like economics, when dealing with human interaction in particular, I think it's had major drawbacks. One thing has concerned me, and I don't know when you attribute it really, maybe Hicks is partly responsible, when once the mathematicians start putting down utility functions and putting a formula in for utility functions, they have already excluded so much of the problem that in fact they neglect what is really going on.
Oh, I quite agree, yes.
I think that I was just talking to Professor Alchin earlier, that one of the things that, in a sense I'm influenced partly by just reading Shackle recently, there's been a tremendous neglect of the notion of sort of emergent choice, that we don't really have before us objects among which to choose. We create them in the act of choice, and we recognize arbitrage really has not become central to economics like it should be, it seems to me. And that's part of this whole subjectivist, Austrian, whatever you want to call it, type of an approach to economics. But do you see any hope much for... There's been a little upsurgence of the interest in this among young people in the United States, but the dominant graduate schools are still predominantly the other direction.
Certainly, but the other thing is spreading. What I'm afraid of is that people will get disappointed, because what we can know in the field of economics is so much less than people aspire to, that much of this tradition you're speaking about, my tradition, is really indicating barriers to further advance than leading to further advance. And that may well lead to a disappointment again among these young people. They are more ambitious, and of course great vogue of econometrics and all this claim to be able to make predictions which I believe are impossible. But people don't like to accept an impossible. And of course a certain widespread view that nothing is impossible. Hundreds of things which science has said are impossible were proved to be possible. Why shouldn't this be possible? We can't prove that it's impossible.
Yeah, this was the main thrust of your Nobel Prize lecture.
Yeah, yes.